Hi, welcome to the Native Talk Show, a conversation series on music design and a bunch of other things. I am your host, Richard Kuptong, and today, in this episode, Jimmy Thang, Rudy Wallang, and I will be discussing the new normal for the musician. Stay tuned. Thank you so much, Rudy, Jimmy, for
my pleasure.
Accepting my invitation. So, this is the Native Talk Show, and this is going to be our first episode, and then we'll really kind of dig into the story of the new normal for musicians and the performing artists, because I see that there is a need to be to have a dialogue around that. So yeah, that's basically how the flow of this conversation will go. And and Rudy, Jimmy, again, thank you so much.
Yeah,
for
my
coming
pleasure.
on the show.
Thank you so much. Pleasure too. And
Yeah.
at least something to look forward to.
Exactly.
That's right.
Yeah. So how has it been, Rudy? How's life?
I think it's the same for all of us, man. Especially us artist folks.
Yeah.
This year's I wouldn't call it a waste. Because because I've learned so many other things that I never had the time to learn otherwise, because we were busy touring and whatever else. So, but the thing is, like, from the point of view of traveling and making music and earning a living, it's been nil. Nothing at all. And doesn't look like anything's going to be happening for us maybe till next March maybe. Can't see what's going to happen. I mean, by the looks of it. Yeah, so I've been keeping busy. I've learned to do a little bit of video editing on Premiere Pro. Put a couple of videos together, and then generally spending time at home with the family, with my kids, and going out for drives now that the lockdown has been lifted. Yeah, so going out I love to go for my weekend drives out to the countryside. Just whether it's with friends or just on my own, I just love that. Just get out into the hills, whether it rains or doesn't rain, it doesn't matter to me. So, and then besides that, of course, I'm working on some stuff here in the studio, recording and trying out different things. So one has to keep busy.
Yeah. And your family would be quite surprised that you've been at home for hours, like the past 6 months.
Yeah, but I'm happy, man. I'm really happy, because otherwise we never get to spend this much time together. When life was normal, everybody was doing their own thing. If I'm on the road, and then Leon Vincent are with me, and then Andrea would be doing her own thing, Elaine would be. So now everyone's doing their own thing, but then we're all doing our own thing together.
In the same space.
Yeah.
So,
but yeah. And that is also much required. In this fast moving world.
Yeah.
We rarely have the time to connect.
Of course.
I think that's the best part of the pandemic.
Yeah. I mean, that two sides. The negative side was the no income. Like, we're not earning anything as musicians, as artists. That was the only negative for us, And then the pros, like the yin and yang, the corona yin and yang. Yeah. So the pros, I mean, there are many plus points, and. I've heard of a lot of people getting depression because of lack of work and stuff, But then I think in this life, I think this corona, in a way, has given us this breathing space.
Yeah.
To me, that's a blessing in disguise,
Yeah. We'll touch base more on that.
Yeah.
But Jimmy, what about your house? How's
I just want to add a small thing. Rudy sir was saying there are a lot of good things that come out. I also would like to add, generally we check out the weather here, the temperatures and stuff.
Yeah.
never in the history of Delhi NCR region we have ever seen clear blue skies.
Right. Yeah.
And the temperature.
Exactly. A lot of my friends posted something. I said, that cannot be Delhi. I've been to Delhi so many times, I've never seen the sky.
Correct.
Never.
Correct, sir.
Beautiful, yeah.
Yeah, we
I
see
mean, that's
clear blue sky. Yeah.
beautiful. That's beautiful.
Yes.
Exactly. So I mean, Jimmy, how's
Yes.
how's it different from what was before and what was now? I mean, there are a lot of difference, but if you want to really dig deep in, you can.
Right. Like Rudy sir said, I mean, it's really cut out a lot of our source of income.
Yeah.
There are certain musicians who entirely depend on music as a means of livelihood, and unless you are somebody who is teaching online and probably if you've been established as a teacher who has been doing online courses, I think for live musicians it's a standstill.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And so all of us have had to figure out some other ways to keep ourselves busy. There are for me personally, I feel that I have been able to catch up on a lot of practice that I've been wanting to do for a long time. I am not only giving classes, I'm actually learning and connecting with a lot of potential teachers, people who have been wanting to learn from and stuff. So it's been a great experience that way.
Yeah.
And getting to spend time with the family is definitely a great perk that comes along with this lockdown.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yes. And then and I saw jams like I think Rudy sir also did, even I did.
Yeah.
We all have all these split screens.
I don't
So we did a lot of that.
We'll get there. We'll get there. Don't worry. I'll get to that question later on.
Right.
We'll keep that one for now. So
Absolutely.
yeah, I mean, life has completely changed. I mean, for us as well, who works on the corporate side of, suddenly what happened is that everybody started going to, moving to work from home setup, and obviously when you do work from home, you have certain limit, like, do you have chairs and tables? Do you have a good internet connection? Do you have all of those stuff comes in, but everyone is trying our best to cope up with this current situation.
Yeah.
But other questions that I would like to bring in is, as the music industry largely falls under this unorganized sector, where it's either self-employed or is it either set up run by individuals. What is your take on the government? What the government is doing, particularly for this sector? Rudy, would you like to go first on this?
I have no idea.
I mean, you don't have to be politically correct. I mean, it's just
No, I'm not being. I mean, I'll say what I have to say.
Right.
See, the thing is, like we were discussing early on before Jimmy came on. Like from the government side, I mean, see whether the pandemic is there or not. There's never ever been any help from the government in any case.
Yes.
any time, unless maybe for us, maybe one or two times via ICCR, the Indian Council for Cultural Relations, where we went and played and we toured Russia. But then besides that, maybe just maybe one concert in about 3 years or 4 years, But there's no help as such from the government. So we don't expect it either. And then in the beginning of this pandemic, when I remember when Prime Minister Modi he made a big announcement of 20,000 crores or 20 lakh crores being put aside for the whole of India, and blah, 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 the usual rhetoric, And then we were all, the government of Meghalaya put up some forms where we had to fill in these forms and submit the forms to the respective department, whichever department that was. So we did that. I did that. I gave it to my sons, because we're all living off music. We're all
exactly.
musicians. Tips also filled in the form. And then we submitted, and then that was it.
Hmm.
We never heard of anything since then. And recently, I had approached the ICCR because I think the regional director is here, Mr. Munish Singh. He's from Manipur, but he's here. He's based here in Shillong. So we're pretty close that way. I mean, he's a young gentleman as well. So I wrote to him and told him, I said, see, I've got my space here, which we use when we do live streaming. So I said, we're starting off just like everybody else in the world. This is new for us, So we're going to try. We bought some equipment and stuff. So if they could help us by giving us, we gave them a little a plan, where we could every week get a different band to come and play here. And from the government side, maybe a little bit of money towards the band and towards this space, so that we can develop the space as well, get better equipment. Because from our point of view, that this thing is going to go on for a little while, it's not going to end tomorrow. At least the whole of this year, it's going to be like this.
Yes.
So the first reply I got from him was that shortage of funds. So I replied to him. I replied to him, and I told him, I said, it's a shame that our government doesn't bother about us musicians. We never demand anything from anybody. Like businessmen, like the rich people that are already there, that have the money and they want more and they grab more. For us, we do our work. We do our work, and then if a little help comes in, we'll be really happy, man.
Absolutely.
Simple as that, But even that, they say this.
And we still pay tax, right?
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Exactly.
Yes, absolutely.
So shortage of funds. So I told him, I said, it's a shame. I said, it's a shame that our government, I said, you look at Nagaland. Nagaland, they're doing so much for artists and music and in general. They have TAFMA.
Yes.
They have TAFMA. I said, here in Shillong, supposed to be the epicenter for music and blah, blah, blah in the Northeast. We don't have one auditorium, a good auditorium. Forget about a music organization or forget about help from the government, So all these are little things that I've been always talking about every time we do an interview for the last 20 years, 30 years since I've been making music,
And State Central Library still is
That's the only place.
spot.
That's the only place, So it's like that. So I don't expect anything from the government. If some help comes in, fine. They're not doing us a favor because we have a Department of Arts and Culture.
Correct.
It's their right to help us. It's not for us to demand or to go begging, give us some help. There is a department for that.
Yeah, exactly. Jimmy, what's your thoughts on this particular topic? Can you weigh on?
I would, as a junior artist, I don't know where my stand and my opinion would really fall in. But yes, I definitely do have my concerns because I have a family. We have we're not just musicians playing just for passion purely anymore.
Exactly.
We actually are depending on it for our general livelihoods, to put food on the plate, to give educations to our children.
Absolutely,
And all the likes. We pay rents, we pay bills. And for every pay we receive, we still have to pay our taxes also at the same time anyway, right?
Right.
There's no escape from paying taxes. So in this context, I would really desire something would probably happen sometime soon. I keep hearing some of the great things Nagaland does actually, and I've been really wondering how the government really puts things together. How do they organize? And the whole of Northeast, it should be something similar.
Exactly.
Is what I feel.
I think the thing is, where Nagaland is concerned, I just feel that the CM and the people that he has appointed for TAFMA, the people that work in TAFMA, that head the department, those musicians themselves. And that I believe is the first step to making things happen. You cannot have a bureaucrat heading a department like that. You need to have a working musician, somebody who understands artists, who understands the whole workings of being an artist, or this industry. if you can call it an industry. You know, you need someone like that. So I'm happy that the Chief Minister of Nagaland has trusted certain people, and they're doing a good job, man. You know, they're doing a very good job, and the government supports them whenever they have shows here, there, whatever they have to do. The government really supports. Here, it's nothing.
And the level of musicianship just skyrockets also, I think, when something like this happens, because all these artists have time to just focus on their music now.
Right.
You know, and their art and the visuals of their art, or whatever whatever other ways they want to present it.
Being more passionate about it without having to worry about, anything else on the side.
Yes, correct, sir.
Yeah. And on top of this, sorry to interrupt. On top of this, we are, as much as an Indian as Anil Ambani or anyone like that, right?
Yes.
So, I mean, I have seen a lot of people, like the from the industry, who are really crazy with the pandemic. Their life they have hit rock bottom.
Yes. I have
really
my bandmates who have gone back, for good, leaving Delhi NCR region because they are unable to kind of make ends meet.
Right, man. And that's so sad.
And the sad part is, they reach back home and there's nothing there waiting for them anyway also. They just basically have to cut on the expenses and probably not bother anybody.
Yeah, correct.
There are some friends who complain that there's not even a music shop to go and probably get guitar strings or even, anything, nothing.
Yeah.
It's really sad for that matter.
No, I mean, the thing is, when you think about if you're based in Delhi where everything is, and especially if you've been there for a number of years and have kind of like set up a foundation for your craft, for your passion, for your music, and you've started earning something, you're working and earning, suddenly to leave all that and head back to a place where there's nothing.
Yes.
That's, I mean, I can't imagine how they must be feeling.
Yes.
Yeah, and also when the biggest issue I see is that when there is a categorization or classification, musician or maybe a performing artist, whether it be film, theater, or whatever it is, never come into the real the lights, right? I mean, we are never under that categorization.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's uncategorized, unorganized sector.
Yeah.
So we never fall into either one of them. Plus, nobody takes the initiative to streamline that as well. That's what I see.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe certain people have tried, but they have probably met roadblocks.
See, because from the point of view that, like, when it comes to government again, they don't take this seriously as if this is a part of our life, as if this is a part of another mode of earning, working and earning.
Right.
So for them, this is just tamasha. Like being a musician, they're musicians, like, they're on the sidelines. It's like tamasha, like, it's not important.
Right.
We have more important things like cutting down forests and putting up massive buildings. Those are more important because
next election.
Yeah, because of money.
Right.
It's all because of that.
Yes.
But then they don't realize. I mean, for us independent artists, we're just a drop in the ocean here in India. But then the music scene, if you're talking about Bollywood music and everything else, film music in general, from all over India, there's a huge contribution to the Indian economy.
Correct. Right.
And we also contribute.
Yes.
Even though we may be a smaller percentage, but we still contribute.
We proudly say because like every time I have to collect a check or anything for a performance, it's already deducted.
Right.
It's not like I do it by choice also. It's already gone.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. I can understand. Yeah. So, I mean, we'll move on to... So, Rudy, thank you so much for dropping the album during the lockdown.
Yes.
Wow.
That's phenomenal.
For us. And,
Thank you, yeah.
It was awesome. It was awesome.
Yes.
Like, like I've mentioned to you earlier, it's been in my playlist, and then go to music for now.
Okay.
And can you tell me more about it? How did it evolve? Are you guys really planning to release it during the pandemic, or is it?
No,
happened
it wasn't planned. Actually, we had planned to release it in March. That was the plan, because we had gone into the studio. We were recording here in November last year. So we started recording in November last year, and then in between the tours and then the breaks. So every time we had a break, we got into the studio. We did a few more songs, then toured again, and then we were listening to the songs, and then we said, okay, maybe redo the drums or redo certain things. So it took a little time. And then, November, the whole of November, beginning of December, we finished the recording part, the tracking. Then after that, I took the album to my friend Barry, who has a studio, and he's a very experienced engineer. He did, so we mixed together, and then he mastered it there. So even then, he's also the engineer for Shillong Chamber Choir. So they were also traveling. So in between his travels, our travels, whenever we had a break, so we said, okay, lock that date, I'm coming to the studio. So that's how we worked it out, So back and forth, mixing, listening. So we finished it around, I think towards the end of Feb. Then March, then we said, okay, let's do it in May. And then suddenly the lockdown happened in March. Then we had to put everything on hold. Then I think in the month of June, I managed to get a car pass. I asked the DC for permission for a car pass, so I could go to the studio every day, and we finished the mastering in June. So then we said, okay, let's 1st of August was International Blues Music Day.
Right.
So I told Keith and Tips, I said, why don't we release it on that day instead, since it's International Blues Music Day, and it's August. We've already waited long enough, so another 1-2 months won't make a difference. So let's release it now. And I think it's been a blessing also in a way for us, because since people are not doing anything, they can pay more attention to the music, to the album. They can sit and listen and stuff,
Right.
So I think that way it's been a blessing for us. I thank God for that. Yeah.
Yes.
How long did it evolve from the beginning to?
So November, almost a year, 7-8 months.
Okay.
I think August, November. 9 months.
And personally for me, as compared, I know I shouldn't do this, but as compared to the 10 stories up, the production quality, I feel this one has much more meat in it.
Well, it took time, man, and it did take time, And
I mean, for the 10 stories up as well, you went to one of the largest studio in Mumbai, right?
That's right. We recorded in but the problem there, the problem with that was not a problem actually, but the difference between that and this. That one we were in Bombay, and finances. So there was a little restraint because of that. It's very expensive. Yashraj, like $3,000 an hour or something like that. So even then, the engineer, our friend Shantanu Hudlikar, he gave us a very good deal, and he didn't charge for his mixing and all that kind of stuff, just for the tracking and the mastering, and so even then the bill was still quite huge. So, and we had to record it. We had, I think, within 12 days altogether.
Oh.
It had to be done within 12 days.
The constraints of those limitations in time.
That's it. So
puts pressure.
Yeah. Whereas here, we took our time. And we did it. And Barry is he's a good friend, old friend of mine. So every time I went back to him, I said, Barry, this is not right. We have to do this again. Bring it. We sat down, reworked, listened to it again. There's something wrong with this one. Okay, take it back. He has a lot of patience, and he said, I don't mind as long as we have something good coming out of it, which is the same with me. So we think the same way. So I think it was good. When I think about it, 9 months is like when someone has a baby. It takes 9 months.
It's 9 months.
It takes 9 months, and finally
so it's a baby.
It's our baby.
Yeah, baby. Yes.
But I think it's worth the wait because.
And I would probably like to add that you know, as the artist develops and probably moves from album to album, they get to know their sound better, and they get to know
For sure.
what they want better.
No, even song-wise,
You know?
actually, from the point of view, like the first album, the second album, the songs were already written, and we went straight to the studio and recorded.
Right.
At least the first album. Yeah, so then the second album, we had played some songs for some time on the road, and then went into the studio and recorded. Same thing with 10 Stories Up, but more so with this one. With this present Give Love album, we had done the rounds. I mean, wherever we played all these songs. So they started out maybe that big, and by the time they were recorded, they came down like streamlined, streamlined, like because the more you play the song, the more I shouldn't do this, maybe I should do that there for that part, and Tips is singing this, or maybe I should do this, So all these little things come into play. So
The song already evolved.
yeah, the arrangements kind of happen naturally. So I think that's very important. I think from my point of view, at least, the band, if you're going to go into a studio, like it's nice to play the songs first, let the people listen to the songs, and then you can decide also from the feedback which songs that they really like, that you can put them on the album.
Right.
So yeah, it was good fun, man. This time, I'm really happy about that.
Jim, I know
Yes.
you have been touring, performing in and around of NCR quite a lot before the pandemic, right? So,
Right.
Going back to the whole pandemic thing, how are you coping up with the current situation? How did it change for you? What are you doing now, since that you cannot tour? You cannot go play around. So.
So the moment it started, initially there was that phase of waiting. We're like probably hoping that it's not going to last. It will be probably for a week, or when the lockdown extended, we thought it would be for a month. So initially we had that. So I had no problem. I was thankfully I always had this urge to learn, and I used to share it with a couple of students who used to come to my place. I would spend 1 hour with them a week. So I had about 20-25 students who used to come to me every week once. So I actually did not even know the concept of online classes. Actually, it was one of these people who suggested to me, shall we try an online class? Then I was like, okay, how does it work? And then, we somehow got out of touch. And coincidentally, our worship service for our church, my parishioners, they shared me a Zoom link once on my phone, on WhatsApp. And I didn't know what was Zoom. I thought I'll just click on the link and see how it goes. Then I discovered what Zoom was, and from there was no looking back. I started reaching out for a lot of other friends, telling them I'll help you with whatever I can. I'll help you with songs. I'll help you with concepts, whatever you want to learn. Put it out on Facebook, gather a whole bunch of students here and there, and spend time. So by God's grace, I have about 15-20 students right now. I'm kind of
Awesome.
keeping busy with them.
Good.
Some of them come up with some complex stuff that I actually have to spend a lot of time on, so it pushes me to practice. Yes. So it's learning and teaching at the same time.
Yeah.
So that's what's going on right now.
Oh, that's awesome to hear. That you are doing so well, and then also I've seen that you have.
Okay.
Doing well in a sense, like not that. Not
in terms
that
of sanity,
kind of,
right?
Yeah.
In terms of sanity.
You're still keeping yourself busy.
Yes.
And sane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also you have did a lot of collaboration videos and production, right? And how did
quite a bit.
Yeah, and people are responding quite well to that. And how did it happen? So can
Same
you tell
thing
me
actually.
about it?
So it started out with people starting to do live streams, and I started seeing videos of split screens,
Yeah.
even from the artists, the celebrities that we follow and all this stuff. So some friends started writing into me saying we should do some project together. It's been a while, we've not jammed and stuff like that. And so from there it kind of picked up, it evolved. Initially I was a little apprehensive because I had not much idea about how it would go. But then it was pretty much like jamming, and it was fun to work and connect with our friends, share ideas. We get to learn we get to see a whole new world after that. Like in terms of audio visuals, recording, and then we get to know our plugins, we get to know our sounds, chasing a particular sound, and then you have to worry about the video for that, and what angles you have to shoot it in.
Right.
All those stuff
Yep,
started
yep.
coming. So I learned a lot from my friends, and then it's a fun process. It's just organic. It just moves, and we learn from each video. And I guess,
I think some of us are learning how to cook. Some of us are learning how
Yes,
to
yes.
And then for musician, it's all about upgrade your knowledge on technology.
Tech,
Right?
yeah.
Oh, besides
And-
cooking and
Yep.
doing the rest also.
Yeah. And Rudy, you have also done quite a lot of collaborative session or live session.
Live sessions, streams.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, streams.
Yeah, we've done
And,
a number of streams. Well, collaborations
And,
haven't.
Yeah,
Yeah,
what was
tell
the
me.
biggest challenge when you first started? Like, are you already aware that okay, we are going to do this way, and then or you go by figuring out the way it was?
Had to go with the flow, because I like Jimmy was saying in the beginning, we didn't know what was happening. We didn't know like whether it was going to be a week, a month. We didn't expect it. Now it's already like March to September, almost 7 months now. Yeah, So the thing is, at the same time on the internet, checking out the news, but more on the internet, I think, where
Right.
everyone's trying to figure out now what's the next step. So it's not that anybody will usually the West is way ahead of us here, but this time we were all in the same boat. So even because I follow a lot of musicians, like blues musicians in the US and stuff, and a lot of them my friends, and we were discussing stuff, and like for them, they also their music, their touring came to a halt, complete halt. Now for them also it was a big question mark. So Manu, no? Manu who's based in Delhi.
Yes.
He does production and all that. Manu Saxena.
Yes. Yes.
So I think sometime in April or something, like we got talking, and then because Manu's always open for ideas for new, venue. I mean, new projects and stuff like that.
Right.
So he was, so he kind of gave me the idea. He said, "You got your studio. Why don't you start doing streaming from there?" So in the meantime, I mean, I didn't have any gear, so I decided to get this Zoom, the Q2N camera that I'm using now.
Yeah.
So I thought, okay, I get that maybe with that camera. Then I didn't realize that on Facebook we got to stream that you have to use OBS. So now what is OBS now? So Manu was already doing that there. So one day we sat on Manu. Oh man, I forget the sound engineer's name. His partner. So myself and we were sitting. I was sitting here. So I threw what's this tiny what desk? Desk. Any desk. So yeah, so they
Any
were,
desk.
yeah, so they were checking out my screen, and they were helping me optimize OBS
Oh, okay.
because it was completely new for me, So yeah, so then we did some sound checks with the mixer, the whole band playing into the phone
Yeah.
to see like just tests. We did some test runs on Facebook. We did about 8 or 10 test runs every night. We were testing. There was lag on the video, But now,
Right.
now learning all these things now, the tech behind it, So well, I think we've come up a couple of steps, getting better at it right now. And besides that, of course, the video making. I've made a couple of videos with my kids singing, with my daughters singing. I made 2 videos with them, and then with a friend of mine, Bob, I made 2 videos with him. Then with Soulmate, I did a couple of videos. So I learned how to edit how to use Premiere Pro,
Yeah.
you know, and then so yeah, all these little things that kept me busy, kept my mind. Because if I wasn't busy, then I'd be sitting thinking about, man, you know, no gigs, you know.
Right.
At least this kept me sane. So I was busy doing these things, and happy to see a video out there. Okay, I made this.
That video will work while I sleep.
Yeah. So
and
yeah.
and also you know, although it's a sad thing that the pandemic is happening, but it's also great that we have good internet connectivity now, right?
Correct.
Otherwise,
Yeah.
I can't imagine surviving in this pandemic.
Yeah, the
without
first thing I did
smartphone
was-
and internet. Yeah.
The first thing I did was change that. I had a BSNL connection, which was really slow. Then my sons they got a Geo fiber network, and it was quite fast. So I said, okay, let's get one in the studio as well. So got that. I said, if you have to stream, we're going to need that, you know, in the end,
Absolutely.
for live streaming, and also that, you know, the problem of lag and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So that's kind of sorted out now. So yeah, so I think we'll be doing a stream next, maybe on the 20th of September, Soulmate.
Oh, nice.
That's what we're planning to do that. So let's see.
Right.
Yeah.
And Rudy, you have been in the industry for, I mean, for a very, very long time.
Long
To
time.
be really, yeah. I don't know how much precise I would be if I say very, very long time.
About 39
decades.
years now.
Wow, that's like
Older than my
insane.
age.
Yeah.
39. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm 58. I'm going to be 58.
Yeah.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah. I'm going to be 58.
I don't think you look 58 at all.
I started out when I
You've
started
been in
out
the industry. Yeah.
in 1980 when I was like so it's 40 years now. It's going to be 40 years.
Wow, sir. Amazing.
I was
for
18.
40 years of experience in the industry, what has been, I mean, according to you, what has been the good and then the bad and then what has been
And the ugly.
thing? Yeah.
The bad and the ugly. Well, I think it's, you know, more good than bad. If I talk about, see, because the thing is now, from the time we started out, I was like 18 years old. I was young, and I was raring to go. And I was like, you know, when you're young, anything doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You know, you don't really care too much about your surroundings or where you're going to be sleeping that night. For me, like the passion of being a musician, for me, the main thing was about getting on stage and playing the music. That was the most important thing, number one thing. And it's so with Lou, because I started off with Lou Majau in the Great Society. All right. So those days, I mean, I was playing bass with them. So we'd travel by bus, we'd travel by taxi, mainly taxi, like a ambassador cab, with all our gear in the cab, you know. Because those days there was nobody had PA systems, nobody had front of house, no monitors, nothing. We had to carry our own speakers, set up on the stage, do all the connections, put the two mics there, you know, set up everything, play the gig. After the gig, dismantle everything,
Unpack.
pack it all up in the cab, drive home.
Wow.
So it was good. And being young at that point of time, really didn't we didn't really mind where we slept. There were places where we slept on the floor, you know, with a jacket as a pillow and maybe a shawl just to cover up, you know. But being young, I mean, you know, you don't think of all those things. You know, it's about traveling. Let's go. Let's move on to the next gig now. You know, we're going to be playing here, playing there, that kind of thing. But then as the years went by, then with the introduction of PA systems, you know, then you start getting used to monitors. And these were all, I think, good things for musicians if they were used well. It became a bonus for us. If we had on stage monitors, we could hear ourselves, so we didn't have to sing too loud. Otherwise, always my voice is not loud, you know, so always a sore throat or something like that. So now, with the introduction of monitors, we could hear each other, we could hear the band, the sound got a little tighter, it became a little more refined that way. You know, so all that, I mean, I don't think there was anything really bad that happened. Maybe times when organizers ran away with the money, we didn't get paid. That was bad.
Right.
Which happened a couple of times in Nagaland, in Dimapur especially, you know, where we played a couple of shows, and after the gig, waiting for the money, waiting for payment, organizers disappeared. You know, so we had to,
Probably gone after party.
Yeah, so we got pissed off. I mean, we were pissed off because of that. I mean, they didn't respect our side of the bargain. That's when we started learning how to take advances. Before it was all trust, you know. It was all trust.
Correct.
Yeah.
It was all trust. Then when these kind of things started happening, then we were like, okay, now we have to start charging an advance, 50% advance before we leave Shillong. Otherwise, we're not going to leave Shillong. You know, so we had to become, smarter that way. We had to become smarter that way, just because of a few people, bad eggs in the industry.
Yes.
You know,
And I think it's pretty much an industry norm.
yeah,
I mean, if you look at any services between any two, service providers, or
right.
that's how it works now.
Yeah, it has to be that way because I mean, there's so much trust that you can, give to, and especially people that you don't know.
Correct.
You know, if you know someone, then it's different. You know, you can say, okay, he's a friend, or if somebody introduces somebody, a good friend introduces someone to you, you can, that trust is there. You know, but now, like for us especially, I mean, now we have a manager as well to take care of the business side of things. Which gives us a chance that we don't have to think about all that. We think about music, about just making music, going and doing the best thing that we can do, which is
Makes sense.
yeah. So it hasn't all been bad. I would say maybe 10% negativity, 90% of learning, evolving, getting better, learning about guitars, learning about strings. Those days we never got strings, we got Karuna strings.
Yeah, I remember
Those
that.
fat,
Go Karuna.
fat Karuna strings.
Yes.
So we had to go through all those phases in life. We never had guitars like this. Our guitars were made, we had Gibson, the
Gibson guitars.
GIV, the Calcutta-made guitars.
Yeah, I do.
Then we had guitars made by a friend in Guwahati where we actually had actual single coil pickups made and stuff, by a friend of ours. He was an engineer by profession, but his hobby was making guitars. So we were lucky we went through that phase as well of humbuckers and single coils, that kind of thing. So we learned, it was a learning process.
Yeah.
And if you're talking about like listening to music
Yeah,
as well,
Yeah, you've seen a lot of the faces, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, those days we never had internet like this. When if I had one cassette, if somebody gave me a cassette, a brand new tape of something, that cassette would be copied maybe 100 times by different friends, and it would be circulated all over the Northeast.
Yeah.
And that cassette would be looping so many times. We would have heard that album so many times.
Yeah, but it was so
Unlike today.
precious, no, wasn't it? It was so precious then,
Yes.
I mean, and we had to sit down with tape recorders. We couldn't learn and slow down a video like they have the opportunity of doing now. We had to sit there, rewind, listen to that, practice that, rewind again. That's how we learned. That's how we learned.
Yes.
Now I guess,
And
nowadays it's much
No, I think
different.
that and also I think that during those time the quality of music plus the appreciation is much more higher, whereas now with the available of technology, everything at your fingertips, from Spotify to iTunes,
Correct.
everything.
Correct.
The
It's in your
value
face.
of good music really degrade, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
I mean, in terms of the ear of musicians, I think the yesteryear musicians can never be. I mean, they are class apart. Musicians today will probably, unless they're prodigies or they have been really trained properly since childhood, the ears, people don't spend so much time
Listening.
putting in learning, listening. Yes, learning. And so I guess I would definitely look up to the yesteryear musicians for the listening skills that they have had and the ears that they develop. I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah,
Phenomenal.
I guess we had no choice, that we had no choice. Now we are spoiled for
Right.
choice. I mean, when
Correct,
I look at the guitar players nowadays, the young guitar players, girls and boys, like kids that can shred, that can play stuff that maybe 10 years ago, like maybe Steve Vai would have been doing 10 years ago, 15 years ago.
You're right.
Some young kids
Right.
nowadays, they can just do that and more. I mean,
Yes.
it's really, sometimes it just gets to me, man. I get like really frustrated. Frustrated in a
True,
way,
sir. And in every style of music, right?
Every style of music. Every style of music, They, wow. But then at the same time,
but they'll still
at the
they'll
same
still miss the touch that you
at
have.
the, at the same time, I find a lot of it lacks feeling.
True, sir. Absolutely.
A lot of it lacks soul. The technique is fantastic. The technique is impeccable, But then a lot of that soul, I guess, it comes from listening, from really, really diving deep into the song, understanding
Right.
the whole idea behind you. Those days we would use our imagination. Look at an album cover or a CD cover, listening to the music.
Right.
Why did he write this song? Like, I imagine like who he wrote the song for. Why are those lyrics like that? Why did he play that guitar lick? What was he feeling, or what was she feeling at that point of time when she wrote that or
Right.
when she sang that? So all these questions, and for us to try and play like that, just by listening.
Right.
So I think that really got our ears like really sensitized to going deep, diving deep down to the foundation.
Yes.
I don't think that happens really that much nowadays.
Right. Right.
I may be
And
wrong.
also, Rudy, I mean, while we're talking about the music, since you're like you're in the forefront of blues music for Indians, and then if somebody talks about India blues music, or even for the international as well, you're like the one guy, the soul guy, right? So do you kind of feel pressure to, as a some sort of a responsibility here to introduce to the new generation that give them good quality music, and because a lot of the young generation into blues really looked up to you, right?
Right.
So do you feel some sort of a responsibility there?
Of course, man, I do feel a responsibility. Sometimes I wonder, why did I get into this, So everyone's fingers are pointing at me, But I'm really happy to say right now there are a couple of guys like Aranjoy Sirkar from Calcutta, a very nice, very good blues guitar player. Like he has that feel, he has that soul. Because after Soulmate came on the scene, there were a lot of other bands that started playing the blues or started playing blues songs, but then without that conviction. You know what I mean? I mean, like, as a blues player, to really play the blues and to play blues songs are two different things. So when you play a song, you're playing a song. But when you're playing the blues, it's different. It's playing the blues, you're getting behind the lyrics, behind the whole feel, exposing yourself completely and playing that live.
Right.
Your feelings, playing your feelings out. Whereas if you're playing blues songs, you're just doing covers. So you're playing licks that somebody else has played, maybe you're just trying to copy that, playing a song like that, So Aranjoy is one of the few guys that I've seen that really plays the blues. So I'm happy that he's there. He's young, like he's in his early 30s, I think, right now.
Okay.
So he's getting there. But then you'll see him on Instagram. He posts every day, or every second day he does. Aranjoy Sirkar.
Arunja.
So at least I've got
Sirkar.
company. Yeah, Sirkar. Sircar.
Okay. Okay.
So yeah, so Ehsan Nurani is there. Oh,
Yeah.
Ehsan loves the blues. He did study. His hero is
MI, right?
he studied at MI, correct? Uh, oh man, the name slips my mind right now. So anyway, I mean, Ehsan's also into the blues and he supports the blues quite a bit. So
Yeah.
that way, I'm not so alone right now. I feel slightly less pressured from that point of view, you know. Otherwise, in the end, like, it's just Tips and myself, you know, we're trying to do this. So when I hear of a blues band that's going to be that, I'm all for it, you know. At least we have company.
Yeah.
I feel good, you know.
Right.
It's a good feeling.
Exactly. Yeah, because the question, the reason why I'm asking that question is that because you know, as a newer generation from who love the blues, you know, we really looked up to you because that's something that we can relate to the closest, right?
Right.
I mean, I can't go to listen to Muddy Guy and then relate to it much.
I understand what you mean.
I mean, you can relate to it somehow, but when it's Rudy Wallang, when they say Rudy Wallang, oh, you know, it's from Northeast, it's from India, you know, then that sense of belongingness comes in with that, right?
Right.
And then that makes it more easier to connect.
Right.
Because music, in one way, is also all about connection, right?
Correct. Yeah, and I guess maybe the
so
songs.
That's why this question evolved. Yeah.
Yeah, the songs that we write and the songs that we sing about are local, you know.
Yeah.
They because we are from the Northeast,
Right.
our experiences at home or when we're traveling or whatever, you know. So that comes out in the music, and a lot of our fans can identify with that, which is important, like you were saying.
Right.
The sense of belonging, and it feels good, you know. It feels good when, as a musician, you're accepted by your people and by your peers and by other musicians around you. It's such a nice, warm feeling.
Yeah.
It's such a lovely feeling.
Yes.
Exactly. And I will just open up to do another question here because I want to really dig deep into this one. You know, due to the pandemic, we have you know, introduced a lot of technology usage. Like for example, Jimmy has learned how to use Zoom and then take online classes.
Yeah.
And
Sorry.
and also that the world will never be the same. It's going to be the new normal, right? That we are going to go into, whether the pandemic has, whether there is pandemic or not. Whatever we are going to go next, the next level would be the new normal for us. So in that, do you see the music business shifting? In what way is it going to be shifting?
Well, I'm sure it will shift. I mean, it started shifting already, I guess, with the advent of Spotify and all your streaming platforms online, you know. So that's already shifted some years ago. Because by rights, I mean, when we talk about Spotify, it's a really good platform for musicians to be heard.
Yeah.
But it's a lousy platform for musicians to earn money from,
Yeah.
you know. When you think about it from that point of view. So
Because
this is
at
the
end of the
business.
day, it's all about the money for the big corporate, right?
Yeah. See, the thing is, like, for us as musicians, for me as a musician, as a professional musician, even though you know, we have a manager to take care of the business side of it, you know, for me as a musician, the music is the most important.
Yeah.
Music is number
Yes.
one. You know, I always think of music as number one, and the money that we get in is a bonus. If we do a good gig, you know, and we make a lot of people happy and they want us back and stuff, that's the best satisfaction that I can ever get.
Right.
And once I get my paycheck, I'm more happy.
Yes. Yes.
You know, because that is for our efforts, of the hard work that we have put into, you know, making a good gig or a good album, or, you know, things like that, writing good songs. It gives us encouragement, you know. But then, but then generally in India right now, I think where indie bands are concerned, see, this album as well, we're doing it on our own.
Yeah.
We're doing it on our own. So in India especially, there's no real business as such. For us, the business was touring.
Exactly.
So now that's why I'm trying to concentrate on the streaming. So if we can do some good streaming, this is going to be big. Streaming is going to be the way to go
I think.
And
right now.
yeah, and also streaming has been quite popular among the gaming community, right?
Yeah.
So, for example, there is a Twitch. There is a platform called Twitch,
Okay.
where the main guitarist of this Dragon Force keep on streaming. A lot of musicians
Right.
are streaming there, and then you can in Twitch. What happens is that people can give you donation. Or no, I don't know the in depth of it, but
Right.
that's another platform where everybody is there. Like apart from the YouTube,
Facebook and
and
stuff.
Facebook Live, yeah, and stuff.
Right.
So that's the biggest platform where people are there.
Oh.
So I think that will be another option that musician is going to obviously jumped up on board. But I think there will be a lot of new things that will be introduced later down the line.
Yeah.
I
See,
mean,
right now it's
people are innovative enough.
yeah, it's a learning phase for everybody.
Right.
The business people, then the musicians and the managers, everyone is learning everything at the same time now. So I think we're all going with the flow. So
Yes.
Yeah.
I must check out Twitch though. I've heard about it, but I never really got into that.
Yeah.
Because
and like for example,
yeah,
things can evolve as far as only by invitation live stream,
right.
or
Right,
only paid membership live stream, something like that. I mean, things will evolve, and
Right.
then, I mean, there will be new technology offering. And the only thing that we are worrying about right now is the latency thing that everybody is facing, which is
Yeah,
quite
yeah.
crazy.
Well,
But
yesterday I was just having a test thing with Aditya Balani, GMI.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So because I'll be doing a course with them from the 11th of this month. It's a
I
blues course on blues guitar and stuff like that. So we were doing a test yesterday. So like we were talking about this latency thing. So they were saying it all. See, the thing is like we cannot. It's not in our hands. My stream may be pretty good from here, but the person say somewhere sitting in, say for example you are in Delhi, depending on how good your connection is, the latency could happen at your end, or it could happen in between. So that you can't really help.
Right.
yeah, because for example, even for this setup, I was running my DSLR through the cable to the camera, which is connected to the capture card.
Yeah.
It's no internet interference there.
Right.
Even during that period of this transferring,
Huh.
I have a delay of 2 milliseconds or 2 to 3
Oh.
milliseconds, right? So I mean, on the internet, obviously there will be
Yes.
latency,
With that,
but
more distances.
Right. Yeah.
But I've seen some people play creatively with the delay, using it as a the guitar delay
As an effect.
yeah, and they started looping themselves on top of it.
Right. Okay.
That was
Okay.
something that
Nice.
was funny. Yeah.
Oh, there are insane stuff. There are people who have started video editing. I mean, slightly diverting from this. There are people who have started video editing the voices of their baby, and that becomes an AC/DC song.
Wow.
It's insane.
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying that we are innovative enough. We are human beings, so I think that there will be something or the other popping up down the line.
And there are other places. I mean, like in England and in Germany, I think they've already started live concerts again, but with social distancing.
Sure.
You must have seen that, no? Where they have.
I don't know if
You haven't seen
Rudy
that?
sir, you got any news? I got one invite for a concert from the car. Like
Yeah,
there's
that's
a
one of
stage
them.
set up, and then you have to attend the concert, but you have to be in your car.
It's like those. It's like those the old
Drive-in.
drive-in movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
But in England,
that's what they said. Yeah.
in England recently there was
in the
one.
Western,
They had these open cubicles, no? Like open cubicles with tables for 4 people at a time. So
I see.
4 people could sit, 4 people like that. You keep your distance.
Okay.
So only your gang
Okay.
can go and sit in that space.
I
Yeah.
see.
So and the stage is there. So it's like that.
Right.
Don't know what's gonna happen.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I'll just bring back to one more topic before we end the show. So I mean, one of the questions that I have is that we already discussed with Rudy before. Jim, you were here. We have a little bit of time to chit chat. So.
Yes.
I see that everyone appreciated the art, right? And we enjoy the talent, and then we get lost within the performances, especially during this lockdown. The only one thing that you do is enjoy art, right? Whether it be music, whether it be movie, or it be a show, or something like that. You go to music and you go to art, but why do you think people have so much difficulty in relating to the person behind that art, whether the musician, whether the artist or not, as a human being who is going through the same thing, I mean, you're a musician. I enjoy your music. I should be able to relate to you, saying that okay, he might have been going through the same thing that I'm going through, right? But nobody ever really dig deep into that. So why do you think there is this misconception? Would you like to go, Jimmy, first?
I guess it's human norm, bro. I don't know if there's any reason. So if we look at the past, if we look at all the great artists, let's say, was it Mozart or was it Beethoven? I mean, his entire life was filled with struggle. He even died, and he was buried in a mass grave, only to be later revered as one of the greatest musicians ever in history. So I guess it comes with the art. Sometimes as artists, we are all passionate. We think from the heart, and so all our decisions are not necessarily based out of the head.
Correct.
And so we are not the best at marketing ourselves, packaging, or putting together what might be precious gold for an audience or for a consumer, for somebody, for a client that you would want to have. Whereas there are some people who could probably polish third.
Yep. Turn it into a
and
diamond.
still have it reach out.
Exactly.
So that's ultimately, I guess it's on the musician. Today it's a different generation altogether. Musicians also have started working on their business acumen, and because it's a means for survival. So musicians have to start looking at the business side of things. They start packaging. These days I see some of these YouTubers that I follow, they actually have their own fan following. They have their own merchandise. They have their daily posts. They actually have a daily schedule that they follow. I would wake up at 5 a.m. in the morning, make coffee for myself, check my mails, reply my mails, get all the show plannings and all this stuff done, then go and pack my merchandise. There are so many guitar players who have already started coming up with their own guitar lines. Ola, there's that Animals as Leaders guitarist, that black guy, I forgot his
Abasi.
Toshin Abasi.
Toshin
Yes,
Abasi,
Abasi
yeah.
guitars. Correct. So and all the existing great guitar players are updating their guitar merchandise as well.
Right.
And so besides the guitar, they have their coffee mugs to t-shirts to guitar picks to guitar amps, or they endorse pedals. So
Right.
so ultimately everyone has kind of like figured out multiple angles of means of income and stuff like that. Ultimately, I don't know if that answers your question, but that appreciation and stuff probably fits in somewhere in this angle, in this we have to the artist has to develop their own fan following. They have to work hard at it. So it comes just like any other corporate field today. Sadly, although the artists have to focus on their art and do what they love. Sometimes they probably have to make music that is trendy. Look at Bollywood, look at all the pop music in general altogether.
And also what I see is that like for example, there was some era where people really appreciate the high-end production stuff. But right now it's more of like connection between people. So
Yeah.
the lower the budget, the more appreciation you get. Kind
Correct.
of thing.
TikTok,
right?
for example.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. Exactly.
You
So
know?
Rudy, what's your take on this one?
Exactly
what
what-
is the misconception between this? Yeah.
Well, I think most of the time we've just been taken for granted. I think
Right.
the musicians and artists have been taken for granted. You know, I can talk from a point of view here, like being from a small city like Shillong, where we've been, I feel personally that we've been underappreciated. We are more appreciated outside. Like in the cities, Calcutta, Mumbai, Delhi, Bangalore, we have huge fan followings all over. But here in Shillong, very few people got to know about us. It's only now because everybody has time on their hands. They're going to YouTube or the internet, Facebook. Suddenly, I see the amount of Khasi young people that are joining Soulmate on Facebook, like asking to join Soulmate, asking to join every second day, 3-4. 6 months ago, 8 months ago, it was never like that. I think now because everyone's kind of like home and suddenly maybe the focus on the net, so that's opening
Yes.
their eyes and their ears to other sounds that they haven't heard before, But I just feel like musicians in general or artists in general have been taken for granted because of the fact that we do things with passion, with love. I just feel if we were like businessmen, we're going to be right in the front there. Okay, I'm going to charge you so much for this, or people pay, I think, more attention to money or things from money, a money point of view, than to
Right.
people who do things from their heart.
Correct.
So I think we've been underappreciated because of that.
Yes, like these days, if you actually put in a lot of effort and put in a raw recording, the more effort and the harder the recording has been, the less appreciation you're gonna get. Whereas if you go and refine it with some plugins and you get all those
Yeah.
ready-made stuff that will cook you and make you sound like
Polished.
that artist or that great artist, you're already sure to be getting lots of likes and stuff.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
very-
And that's
Ironic.
and that's the negative side of the net again.
Right. Right.
That's the negative
Yes.
side of it and that is being constantly shoved in your face. Every day, it's happening like that.
Just like a lot of us musicians suddenly get a lot of time, there's a whole bunch of other people also who probably start having even more time.
Exactly.
And they start poking their nose into, okay, how did he produce that song, or how did they make that video?
Yeah.
Then, yes.
Yeah.
So then you
But
have
to
a whole
me-
bunch of video artists and photographers and musicians and
Everything.
stuff.
Yeah,
Everything.
I mean, when you look at this thing, the Facebook lockdown, there's a channel, no? Facebook lockdown on Facebook,
I see.
where
Okay.
anybody can go and send their video in and then play. Some of them are like, I mean, really, some are pretty okay, and these are amateurs, but they finally got a platform to show off their talent.
Yes.
And now because people are not doing anything, they have time to watch. Wow, they're getting
Yes.
thousands and thousands of views
Oh,
and
yes.
followers and stuff. When these people in real life, they could be sitting in an office, doing
Yes.
some work. Suddenly they become famous on
Yes.
Facebook.
The irony is, these guys are still sitting at home doing all these things. They're getting paid.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. And the artists, the people that really work for this, they're
Yes.
sidelined, man.
Whereas suddenly you're sitting on the side and wondering, okay, what just went by? What just went by?
What was that?
Yeah, so that's where we really need to make a platform or a system where paid only view,
Right.
Yeah.
right, right.
or otherwise the platform should pay us per view, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
But I think it'll get there. It will get there.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
so.
You
I
know,
think so.
uh,
I actually sometimes even wonder if the internet is where all the action is going to happen eventually, maybe all these free music which is being streamed on YouTube and all these other platforms might even change someday.
Yeah.
There might be more organized algorithms, or there will be more people who are involved in the internet who will actually start putting restrictions or run after people who are breaking
laws and stuff.
Yes, laws and stuff. And so eventually musicians might look forward to even better futures.
Right.
And in that time there will be no more record labels who will be kind of like,
I hope so.
absolutely, sir. Record labels who will actually go and dig into the main chunk, take the lion's share, so the artist
Yeah.
would directly probably have
That's
his own
totally
cut,
unfair, man.
Yes.
Like for example, YouTube algorithm is really good. They already have a good algorithm wherein for example, Rudy, you guys have released to iTunes, and then probably you have an ISRC code or a barcode already. So what happened is that once that is there, it's registered in the bank, in the database, right? So whenever somebody upload a video which has music, the algorithm runs, and if it match even two notes or single notes, it identified that okay, this is from this song. So it will still allow you to use it. It will have
But you cannot-
all the song listed down in below your description,
Right.
and if you monetize it, the money will go to the artist, the label who released the song.
Okay.
Right.
So there
Okay.
was one case where some wedding video where the couple danced with using that William Farrell, I think, the Happy song.
Okay.
It got a lot of view. The sad part is all those monetization didn't go to that couple. It goes to the label.
Artist.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
the label. Okay.
Yeah, the label. So that's how they did it. Obviously, it will take some time, but but yeah, the internet is next place where a musician will really be making money. Yeah.
But
That's what I see.
the weirdest part about this live streaming is where you have to look into a phone and talk to people on a phone, man.
Yeah.
Oh, hi. Oh, someone's just coming there. There's no one around.
So
you.
you're physically alone in the room, but you're very busy. Just like all three of us are right now.
Constantly looking into a phone, and you can't see the people. You might know them by their name or something. Oh, hi. But then you're looking into this little gadget over there,
Yes.
and someone's clapping like this. They've said an emoji or something, a clap emoji.
Right.
Hi, wave emoji. That's so,
Imagine
it's so
if
weird. Yeah.
some uncle from 40 years ago or 50 years ago suddenly comes to this generation, and then he comes and gets a glance of how people laugh at a device or something like that, and they're romancing the device. That'll be so funny. What would go through his mind?
Oh man.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy, right? You're live streaming and then you said, "Oh hi, how are you from?" All those stuff.
That's
and then
what-
the other guy just type, and then on the screen it pops up, and
Pops
then
up.
you
And
don't
sometimes
hear the
Right.
audio as well.
and
right?
sometimes you
Right,
miss
right, yeah.
sometimes you miss it as well, and then the next
Yeah.
day next day you're scrolling down and oops, that person
Oh
said
yeah,
that.
that was that.
Yeah. But one of the best part of YouTube streaming is also that I know they have this donation thing happening again.
Okay.
And but again, it's always a split, right? If you make 10 rupees, they
Between
take
YouTube,
5
huh?
or
I see.
exactly.
For Facebook,
So,
I think
mean, at the
Facebook also I think they were planning to start something like that, no?
yeah,
But,
yeah, they
but
should- they will.
what we do is we just put PINA, the UPI, the GPay, Google
Yeah.
Pay, my UPI ID or PayPal or whatever.
Right.
Always pin it at the bottom. So and we ask people to contribute.
Right.
So I mean that way we don't really we get a little bit of money. At least something comes in for those who appreciate it. But most of them are free. Most of them are freeloaders.
Yes.
They'll be there, but
Like for, yeah.
that's the way it is.
Like for example, I don't know whether you guys have explored it, but Patreon is another platform.
I've heard so
yeah.
much about it, but
Only
not
members
really.
content.
I see.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. So Twitch would be better, I think.
Twitch is also good. Twitch is mostly famous among the gamers.
Gamers, okay.
Yeah. gaming
Right.
thing. They some people sit the whole day playing game, streaming live there, and then people watching them play, and then people donating money there. So that's how they make them.
Wow.
Okay, wow.
Wow.
Whoever thought you could
So-
get paid to play games, man?
Yeah, I swear.
No.
If I knew this was happening.
I would have been a gamer.
I mean, seriously, if you go to Twitch, you would see how many of them are there, just 24/7 to streaming.
Right.
Right. I mean, 7 years ago or so, my little young 2-year-old boy told me, "Papa, I want to be a YouTuber." I was like, "What is a YouTuber? I don't understand what is YouTuber." So basically, he was watching a lot of YouTube videos of these gamers. They're playing video game on the screen, and then they're getting millions of views. So, I mean, over the course of 7 years, I started seeing that there are some YouTubers like Dan TDM who just makes a living off of playing video games,
Yeah.
and he's like one of the biggest YouTubers. Earning in terms of like millions,
Right.
like richest YouTubers and so on.
Right.
It's insane.
Yeah, it is crazy. Like Rudy, I don't know if you have you have looked into this, but apart from the actual musician on YouTube, those nursery rhymes or the baby friendly content, they have more views.
Really, huh?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, as a father and me also as a father of a young baby, we realize.
Start making some
Because I
nursery rhymes.
because I saw the views and it was like, crazy. Yeah.
If you need somebody to play one small string, sir, please remember me.
Oh, man.
All right. Thank you so much for your time.
Oh, it's been our
Most
pleasure.
welcome.
Yeah.
Most welcome.